Alright traders, welcome. I trust you all had a wonderful trading week. In the coming week, we are going to pay attention to some of these news events that will be coming up. Remember, during the week, at the FOMC statement, the Fed remained cautious and data dependent. So in the coming week, we pay attention to the likes of manufacturing PMI, average hourly earnings, NFP, and unemployment rate. So for average hourly earnings, if the actual data release become greater than the forecast, then that would be good for currency. Which means if the actual when released is greater than the forecast, then it will be good for dollar, and then bad for other assets such as gold and all the rest of them, Euro USD. Then for NFP, if the data or the actual data released is greater than forecast, then that would be good for DXY or dollar. So if the outcome of this news event comes out greater than expected, then that will be a headwind for the likes of gold, Euro USD, and then a tailwind for dollar. Okay? Why for unemployment rate also, actual less than forecast is good for currency. So if the actual becomes less than forecast, then that will be good for dollar. But if it comes out greater than forecast, then that will be good for the likes of gold, Euro USD, etc. So we need to pay attention to this data release next week, as they will become the catalyst that will decide the direction of the market in the days and weeks ahead. So right now, let's head to the chart and see the technical aspect of it. Now, technically, if you look at my chart here, you can see that DXY on the weekly time frame still remains bullish. This particular zone here, where price is, we have been pointing it out in our last 1 or 2 weekly market outlook, where I said I was expecting price to pull back to this zone. Then I'll look for a longer opportunity. So now price is in this our demand zone. So what I will do is to drop down to lower time frame and look for trading opportunity in the coming week. Like on the daily here, you can see our marked zone, which I've also been pointing out. In our last week analysis, I pointed out the fact that I was expecting price to pull back to this demand zone, which would give me opportunity to long. So right now, as you can see, in the coming week, as price open up, I will look for that entry opportunity. Okay. Then on the 4 hours, the same thing too. On the 4 hours, as we expected, price is already approaching this demand zone. So as market opens up in the coming week, I'll look forward to see if the price will drop down a little more. Then I will look for that long opportunity. Okay. The next pair on our list here is Euro USD. On Euro USD, which is the inverse of DXY, the same price action is C on DXY. The opposite is what is playing out here on the Euro USD. On the weekly time frame, Euro USD has flipped bearish after we had this market structure shift here, break of structure. Now a pullback. And if you look at the screen very well, if you bring your Fibonacci and bring it down, you can see price already approaching our 50% retracement zone. So what I will do in the coming week is to drop down to the daily time frame and see if price will go more deeper to that supply zone. Then I'll look for a short opportunity. Okay. If that zone should fail, then the continuation to this other supply up here will also be enticing to look for short opportunity there. And any of these opportunities that plays out properly will give us a very good swing trading opportunity to go all the way down to this daily demand. On the 4 hours on Euro USD, the same thing also is what I'm expecting. During the week, we identified this demand zone, and you can see the outcome of the trade. So if you want to have access to good trading opportunities like this, you join our Telegram community and our Discord community, where you will have access to our daily market insights. Okay? All right. In the coming week, I'm looking forward to see if price will continue to that supply up there. We are looking for short opportunity. Anything outside that, if I should drop down to this demand, it also give me opportunity to look for more long. Okay? So that is all I have for Euro USD. Then the next pair here is S&P 500. Now US 500 on the daily time frame, in the last two sessions of weekly market outlook, I kept on pointing out the fact that I was interested in this demand zone here because our overall price action still remain bullish, even though we experienced a temporary ranging market here. And during the week, as expected, price pulled back to this demand zone, which gave me opportunity to step into this market, and you can see how the trade went. Okay, then on the 4 hours time frame, exactly the same thing to rise, integrate our entry, return back to this supply here. So right now I'm out of the trade. I've already taken profits from this particular trade. On US 500, what I'm expecting is to see price drop down to this demand zone. I'll look for a fresh entry or any breakout from this zone. Any newly created demand zone here will give me opportunity to continue the ride. So that is my expectation for US 500. Either price will drop down to this demand, I will enter again, or any breakout from this zone and a new demand created, then that will give me opportunity to enter the trade. Okay, so the next pair here is gold. Gold, if you look at the weekly time frame properly, you see that market right now is actually ranging. Okay, so I don't see anything to trade on gold in the coming week unless the price action present opportunity. Okay, on the daily here, we pointed out this demand zone in our last weekly market outlook, and you can see how price reacted to that zone and then flip to the upside. But right now, price action is still ranging. After price broke up from this channel, then came back to the test. You can see the price action there. Nothing is encouraging there. On the 4 hours time frame also, we pointed out this demand zone in our last weekly market outlook. You can see, as we pointed out, which you can see on this video, price moved that supply, returned back to this demand, and then move up again. And I pointed out that to take trade on this demand, along this demand zone, that I was not going to enter blindly, that I will wait to see as price pull back to this zone. I would want to see a market structure shift before I would take the trade, which is also exactly what happened. So if you want to get valuable insights such as this, you subscribe to our channel, join our Telegram trading community and also Discord trading community. Here we'll get some daily insight for high probability setup such as this. Okay, so the next pair on our list here is oil. Oil, during our last weekly market outlook, we pointed out this supply here where I said we are going to look for short from that supply, and you can see how that supply will really head very strong. So right now price is turning back towards the upside. What are we going to do in the coming week? Personally, I don't see any trading opportunity right now. But if we must trade, if price return back to this zone and fill this gap here, then we experience a temporal pullback before continuation. That is what I'm looking forward to see. It may happen, it may not happen. So, but if I should see that happen and the opportunity is encouraging, I may look forward to step in. Okay, price will either fill this gap here, move into that zone, then any newly zone created there might present opportunity to continue to the upside. Or if I should pull back to this zone, far more better, then I'll look for longer opportunity. Anything outside that, no trade. Okay, then the next pair here is BTC USD. BTC USD in our last weekly market outlook on the daily time frame, we pointed out the fact that we're expecting price to drop down to this demand zone. But as you can see, we are still in that process. Then on the 4 hours time frame, I was taken out of my previous position at break even. So within the week, as I witnessed this internal market structure shift, I had to step in again when I noticed this supply zone created with this displacement, liquidity created here. Then as market pulled back to that supply, I had to enter this trade again. So what I'm looking for in the coming week is to see if this price action will continue to answer to this demand zone. Where I'll also look for a confirmation entry before I step in here to go up again. So that is my expectation for BTC USD. So that is all we have for you today. Trade responsibly and manage risk. Join our Telegram and the Discord community for more valuable insights. And also subscribe to our channel. Drop your comments if you have any play you want me to look at or analyze. Okay? Thank you and do have a wonderful trading week.